Welcome to Statistics Made Simple, and I am Savita Valsang. In this video, I am starting another important chapter, that is measures of dispersion, where we will learn about the absolute and relative measures of dispersion, definition of range and quartile deviation, and its merits and demerits. Measures of Central Tendency chapter gave us an idea about the concentration of the observations about the central value, and you know that the central value is also called as the average, and it can be either the arithmetic mean, median, mode, geometric mean, or the harmonic mean. Now let us consider an example where we have three series XA, XB, and XC. The values in the XA column are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and summation XA is equal to 25. Similarly, if we take XB, all the 5 values are 5 and summation XB is equal to 25. Similarly, XC values are 1, 3, 4, 8, 9, and their total summation XC is equal to 25. Now, for all these three series, let us calculate the arithmetic mean, and we use a formula for the arithmetic mean for raw data. That is, we know that x bar A is equal to summation xa divided by n1, where n1 is the number of observations in the first series. Similarly, x bar B is equal to summation xb by n2, where n2 are the number of observations in the second series, and x bar C is equal to summation xc divided by n3, where n3 are the number of observations in the third series. So we get x bar A equal to 25 divided by 5, which is 5. X bar B is also 25 by 5, which is 5. And x bar C is equal to 25 by 5, equal to 5. Let us form three more columns in the table: XA minus x bar A, XB minus x bar B, and XC minus x bar C. So, XA minus x bar A values will be 1 minus 5 is minus 4, 3 minus 5 is minus 2, 5 minus 5 is 0, 7 minus 5 is 2, and 9 minus 5 is 4. Similarly, XB minus x bar B, all the values would be 0 because the XB values are 5 and x bar B is also 5. So, when we subtract 5 from 5, we get 0. And xc minus x bar C will be 1 minus 5 is minus 4, 3 minus 5 is minus 2, 4 minus 5 is minus 1, 8 minus 5 is 3, and 9 minus 5 is 4. The three series, the number of observations is 5 and their means are equal, that is x bar A, x bar B, and x bar C are all equal to 5. But we cannot conclude that the three series are alike. But the values in each of the series differ from the average, that is the mean, except in the second series and the value 5 in the first series. So frequency distributions may be alike in their average and yet very different in the scatter of the values from the average. Let us now learn what is dispersion. Dispersion means scatteredness, and the property of scatteredness of the values from the central value, which is the average, is called dispersion or variation. It gives us an idea about the homogeneity or heterogeneity of observations of a distribution. Note that different distributions show different degrees of variations, and these variations are studied using absolute measures of dispersion. These absolute measures of dispersion are expressed in the same statistical units in which the original data are given. These measures are used to compare variations in two or more sets of data which are expressed in the same units of measurement. Example, the sets of data are expressed in centimeters, inches, kilograms, millimeters, rupees, and so on. Here, the final answer is expressed in the units of measurement as the given problem. The types of absolute measures of dispersion are the range, quartile deviation, mean deviation, standard deviation. Let us now learn what are relative measures of dispersion. When two or more sets of data are expressed in different units of measurement, we use the relative measures of dispersion to compare the variability. Here, the final answer is independent of the units of measurements used in the given problem. The different types of relative measures of dispersion are the coefficient of range, coefficient of quartile deviation, coefficient of mean deviation, and coefficient of standard deviation. We will also learn the coefficient of variation, which is used for comparing the variability, uniformity, and consistency of two or more distributions. This will be in my later videos. Let us now discuss some of the requisites of a good measure of dispersion. First, it should be easy to understand. Its computation procedure should be simple. Second, it should be well defined by a mathematical formula. Third, it should be based on all the values. Fourth, it should not be affected too much by abnormal extreme values. Fifth, it should be capable of further arithmetic treatment. And sixth, it should possess sampling stability. Let us learn about the first measure of dispersion, that is the range. Range is defined as the difference between the largest and smallest observation of a distribution. The computation procedure of the range for raw data. You know that for raw data only the x values will be given. So the formula is R equal to L minus S, where L is the largest x value and S is the smallest x value. Subdivision B, for discrete data, you're aware that the x values and the frequencies will be given. But we make use of only the x values, and the range is R equal to L minus S, where L is the largest x value and S is the smallest x value. Subdivision C, for continuous data, here R is equal to L minus S, where L is the upper limit of the last class interval and S is a lower limit of the first class interval. The coefficient of range is equal to L minus S divided by L plus S. Let's move on to certain merits of the range. The range is the simplest method of measuring variation. The range can be calculated easily since only two values are taken into consideration. Thus, it quickly indicates the variability in the data. Demerits of the range. The range is not based on all the observations. Range can get affected unduly by extreme observations, and range cannot be calculated for data with open-end classes. Let me now define the interquartile range. It is the difference between the upper quartile Q3 and the lower quartile Q1. That is, interquartile range is equal to Q3 minus Q1. Now we move on to the second measure of dispersion, that is a quartile deviation. It's also called as the semi-interquartile range. So quartile deviation, abbreviated as QD, is based on the interquartile range and is half the difference between the upper and lower quartiles. That is, QD is equal to Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2, and coefficient of quartile deviation is equal to Q3 minus Q1 divided by Q3 plus Q1. Let's now discuss some of the merits of the quartile deviation. It is simple to compute and easy to understand. It is not affected by extreme values, and it can be computed for data with open-end classes. The quartile deviation can be used in skewed distributions as well. Some of the demerits of the quartile deviation is that it does not take all the values into consideration. omits 50% of the values, that is 25% values below Q1 and 25% values above Q3. Second, it is not much capable of further algebraic treatment. Third, the quartile deviation is not based on a computed average. It is based on a positional average, so it does not scatter around an average. On the other hand, it shows scatter around a distance on a scale. Fourth, the quartile deviation cannot be considered as a measure of variation in reality because deviation from a central value is not taken. Thank you all for watching, and in my next video we'll find solutions to problems based on the range and quartile deviation for raw, discrete and continuous data.